Excuse me. The neighboring countries like India and Sri Lanka, the fishermen, they go for shark fishing. So before hunting shark, they catch a dolphin, and they use this dolphin flesh as a bait for shark. So I think this Maldives, no, I'm talking India and Sri Lanka.
And Sri Lanka.
Sri Lanka.
Yeah, I know. I've heard that come up before. That it's been highlighted in the news a little bit recently. A couple of countries hunting the dolphins. So yeah, use as
So
bait for the
in
sharks.
Maldives it is protected, but the neighboring countries they are hunting. So how it will be effective if you are taking conservation measures only in Maldives, and the neighboring country they are not bothering? So how it will be effective?
Fortunately, what we'll have with a lot of our dolphins is they're going to be sort of resident or semi-resident to the Maldives. So starting things like something I'm starting photo identification, and you'll get a lot of the similar individuals using the same area. They found that with a lot of spinners, they stay quite localized. So hopefully not too many of our dolphins are venturing up to Sri Lanka. Because yes, outside the Maldivian waters, they're not going to have the protection of the Maldives. But also in Sri Lanka, it would fall under the International Whaling Commission's Indian Ocean Sanctuary, which prohibits any killing of whales and dolphins. So that I can speak to a couple of colleagues and see if they can try and help with the situation in Sri Lanka.
So what about the population? It is decreasing or increasing, whale and dolphin population?
Here in the Maldives?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, there's Dr. Charles Anderson has published a couple of papers from his, mostly from when he does his liveaboard trips of these are the different species and where we've seen them. But in terms of ongoing marine mammal research in the Maldives, very little has been done. So that is a question that needs to be answered. Sort of trying to start slowly something like that. Some of the spinner dolphins, for example, are listed as data deficient. A lot of these animals are data deficient by the IUCN, so yeah, there's not a lot of information about their populations to know if they're increasing or decreasing. Blue whale is still listed as endangered. Humpback whale is least concerned, but blue whale, they travel up to Sri Lanka, feeding through the Maldivian waters and also up to Sri Lanka. They are endangered. It is illegal, one of the first animals they banned for whaling. With the blue whale, the numbers we have today, the numbers that we sort of have around today, is estimated as only about 5% of the numbers that we had pre-whaling. So sort of about 100, 150 years ago, compared that to now, we've only got about 5%. So that's why they're endangered. But yeah, the bans now on whaling should help their numbers increase. Unfortunately, with animals that big, they don't reproduce very often. You're sort of talking between 5 and 10 years for them to calf, and just sort of like humans, 20, maybe 20 years till they're actually mature and start having children. So with marine mammals, when you do get a lot of hunting, it's a long time for the numbers to then increase because it's years between having calves. But yes, a lot of the situation here in the Maldives is still a lot of questions surrounding our marine mammals. So yeah, hopefully we can try and start a little bit of research on that as well and answer some of these questions. It's sort of it's an interesting place, sort of compared to other countries. It's like a new area.
What's the relationship with ambergris in whales?
Ambergris. Basically, ambergris, it's produced by sperm whales. So it's a very sort of waxy, highly flammable material, substance. Basically, when the sperm whales eat their squid, they'll also ingest like the beaks and their teeth, and that can rip their insides. So what they do is they create this substance to coat them, so it doesn't hurt their insides. And then they either excrete that in fecal matter or they'll vomit it out. And yeah, that's when it'll then be either collected on the water or if it washes ashore. And then yeah, it's very flammable, so it's a good liquid, good material for burning. But yes, produced by the sperm whales.
Yeah, and I heard stories that this ambergris has landed in Maldives recently. So what's the reason behind this? I mean, there are so many boats and those stuff near Maldives. So what's the reason behind?
That it's what was the first part? Sorry, that it's
I mean, sperm whales near Maldives. So
seeing sperm whales near Mali.
yeah, I heard that.
That's exciting. I had not heard that. I know that, yeah, there's been quite a few of them stranding, and you're usually going to find them a little bit offshore, but there's stories of them coming close to Mali. Wow. That's exciting, because they're an impressive animal to see.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I also would like to know why this ambergris is so expensive.
Because it's so rare. It's hard to come by. It's very hard. I mean, we create some synthetic. We create some substances which are very, very similar. So the synthetic versions. But yes, or coming across the golden original, which is produced by the animal, is always more valuable than creating a not look-alike, creating a similar substance. But yes, it's produced by them in their stomachs. It's an interesting method. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. So do dolphins stick in the same pods their whole lives, or do they move between pods?
What you'll get with the matrilines, you'll get the females typically sticking together. So the calf, so she'll calf maybe every 3 years, but the young will then stay with mum for 5 or 7 years, just continuing to learn. And what you typically find is the males wandering off. The males wandering off to other groups. Yeah, to reproduce with other females and things. So what you will find is sort of lines: grandmother, mother, daughter, aunts, all together. You get an auntieing system as well, where sort of like a babysitting service. The auntie's looking after the calves. Yeah, so you have these very strong family units, and then it'll be the males once they're mature and ready that'll wander off to the other groups. Sometimes you'll just get groups of males grouping together. Sometimes, for the bottlenose, you just call them a gang of males. Not as a bond, but they'll just come together just to feed or protection, but then split apart. With a lot of the dolphins, it's a fission-fusion society, so they group together, but then they'll split off again, and group together, yeah, splitting apart and coming together as they please. Yeah, it's... Yeah, the orcas and spinners, very strong matrilines, very strong. Thank you.
Thanks.